ACHS essential oils presentation.
How about a game show?
I'll give you the link if you want to watch it, but it's just more. Another thing is we'll hold the questions till last, but I will be a different person up here, kind of semi. Not totally, but anyway. Right. You tell me when.
Go ahead.
My name is Cindy Rouse-Sabatka. I'm a nurse here at the Air Force Academy, nurse anesthetist. I'm going to give you a talk on essential oils. It's alternative therapies, what I'm going to school for. So some objectives we're going to talk about is what's the definition of essential oil, discuss active constituents, the distillation process, methods of administration, general safety guidelines, and explain the importance of using Latin binomial names, because it's very important about the species, what you're using, and describe the medicinal uses and therapeutic actions of lavender, frankincense, lemon, and peppermint essential oils. So if you have any questions during it, or if you have any comments, just go ahead and ask. So what are essential oils? You may know? Nobody? Plant parts. They're extracts from stems, roots, flowers, resins, seeds, fennel seed. So you can get them from any part of the plant, and it's from distillation or expression. So they're very volatile, colorless, non-oily, and insoluble in water, and they consist of lots of compounds and chemicals. So they're chemicals. Very concentrated, 50 to 70 times more powerful than herbs. And it provides a diverse range of healing actions in the body. So these are the chemical groups and the constituents of a lot of the oils. So you have terpenes, alcohols, aldehydes, acids, esters, ketones, lactones, oxides, and phenols. And they all have their various properties depending on which constituents are in that oil. So, for example, esters, like lavender, has a lot of high ester content, so that's what gives it its sedating effects, and its other antifungal, antimicrobial, and antispasmodic properties. So I want to talk about the distillation process, because this is real important, because all oils aren't what they say they are, so this is important information, I believe. So it's been over 5,000 years they found old distilleries, or distillation equipment from over 5,000 years old. So the Chinese kind of have been using oils for a long time, and herbs for therapies. And it's the most common process of extracting oils from the plants. Most commonly used method is steam distillation, and so you put the plant material down here, heat it in the retort, and then the oil is carried through here with the water, and then through a condenser that cools it, and then it separates the oil from the water, depending on the specific gravity of the oil. And birch and wintergreen are heavier than the water, so they'll sink to the bottom, but most oils float up to the top, and then they separate those out. This is just a bigger picture of how, it's very simple, but it's a very important process as far as that. And there's factors that determine the quality of the oil, and this is a very important point. It's the plant material itself, the seed quality, environment, the growing conditions, the time it was harvested, the temperature and pressure, altitude. Altitude, lavender, for example, in France, the best lavender is at the higher altitudes between 2,500 and 3,000 feet, and it gives a different kind of the finest oil. So lavender is various species too, which we'll talk about in a bit. So the quality of the distillation equipment and the bottling and storage of it are very important too. So it's really an art and a science, the distillation. So this is an example of the temperature of lavender should be like 245 degrees and a PSI of 3. The higher temperatures can result in a harsh aroma, and it's not a therapeutic type oil. It's more for fragrances and also the extraction period. In other words, the time they let that the oil separate, or the chemicals. It depends. You have to have a certain extraction period. If it's too short or too long, then it can alter the therapeutic effects of the oil too. So you really got to no. So the oil can be pure, quote, quote, pure, but simultaneously of poor quality, so you really need to know your sources. The other specialized extraction procedures are cold pressing, and this is mainly for the citrus oils like lemon, lime, bergamot, where gray tea comes from. They use the rind, they press the rind, and it really, the oil's in its original state, and it retains its bright, uplifting, and fresh aromas. So that's kind of the... So the bottom line is you want to buy a therapeutic oil from a reputable company, because there's really no industry standard or regulation. So any company that will give the Latin name is very important. The country of origin statement about the oil's purity. In other words, does it have third-party testing? Someone else tests their oil and says it is what it is, or it's organic. Another thing is you'll develop your nose and your own sense of smell, and you can tell which works for you. So I will now talk about the 3 ways you can use them: aromatically, internally, topically. There are 3 ways. So aromatically, you can use it in a diffuser or a bath or a steam, a vapor. Topically, there's Morgan here, his little, he can tell you about lavender and his little, tell us about your little baby with the, that reminds me of your son.
Lavender diluted in coconut oil and our sun spread every night. It's been helping him a lot to sleep. Just on the bottom of their feet.
The children, the babies and children, you have to make sure you dilute it out because the oils are very strong and you have to dilute them out, and I use coconut oil. But they're easily absorbed through the skin and its internal benefit throughout the body, but you need to dilute it. You just follow the oils. And they say you can take them internally, but you really, a lot of them are safe for dietary use, or generally grass, they call it generally recommended as safe, but you do not use any internal oil or any essential oil internally that does not have the appropriate dietary supplement and label on it. It's got to say that. And this is from a company that does allow you to ingest it. Essential oils, these are some safety guidelines. You should always consider the therapeutic margin, and in other words, the dose, between the desired and the toxic effect. Recommended daily dosage, duration guidelines, label warnings, don't use them in your eyes, and avoid the ear canal or open wounds. Keep out of reach of children, because they're flammable also, so be careful not to be around any flames. And some oils can cause sensitization or allergic reactions, and so you might want to do a skin patch test if you're sensitive to stuff. And then also always consult your physician before using essential oils if you're pregnant or under a physician's care. Now we'll talk about lavender. Since Morgan told us about lavender, and lavender is one of the top oils. I'll pass it around so you all can smell it. So the active constituents are alcohols, the esters, and the monoterpenes are the main ones. They have different species of them, and they contain different chemicals. So this is what gives it its therapeutic effects. This is a busy slide, so I don't know. So lavender and lavandin, 2 different species of oils, 2 different effects. Lavender causes, it doesn't have any camphor in it or any 1,8-cineol, and that's what makes it a more sedating, whereas the lavandin has cineol and camphor in it. And so I'm going to pass around the lavender and lavandin because they're 2 different species. Lavandin is a hybrid species of the fine lavender. And see if you can smell the camphor stuff. So I'll keep the lid so you guys just pass it around. But you'll smell the lavender and then smell the lavandin. And feel free if you want to put a drop on, just sedate yourself or calm yourself down.
They already are.
So lavender has multiple uses: analgesic for topically for insect wounds, bites, migraine headaches, teething. When you start seeing bruises, menstrual pain, you can do a hot compress. Antibacterial, antiseptic, and astringent. So again, it's great for a lot of skin complaints, and it's an antispasmodic also. Good for coughs. It's a nervine, so it helps tone and heal nerves, and it's also an excellent sedative. That's what a lot of the lavender use people just help in common, but it has multiple uses. Oops, sorry. Go back. And in Lavenden, there was a study in 2009 that showed 150 pre-op patients with anxiety found that it actually significantly lowered their anxiety with the aromatherapy in lavender. Helps with the cough, cold, and flu because of the camphor that lavender has, and also household uses an insecticide. Lots of different uses. These are some other studies that you can get off of PubMed.gov. There are tons of studies on that if you want to look at any essential oil. It shows that the pain in pediatric patients post-tonsillectomy was lower. They used less analgesics with aromatherapy. And then this study showed that this was done in Iran, that they took 96 students with severe dysmenorrhea and they did aromatherapy with lavender, and it was a significantly decrease in their dysmenorrhea symptoms. You can't read it. And contraindications, it's very rare, but the camphor, you can have some reactions, so you just gotta, it's very rare. Always the skin patch is recommended. Frankincense is my favorite. Now, it smells a little different, everybody knows that, but it's got so many properties. It's from Boswellia. There's a lot of research, and these are the chemicals, but multiple uses, even more than what's listed on here. Anxiety, asthma, bronchitis, scars, stress, extreme coughing, stretch marks. It's an antidepressant, anti-cancer, big anti-cancer. There's a lot of studies right now going on here in America on its anti-tumor and anti-cancer effects. And here are some studies that I took from PubMed.gov. And then this YouTube on frankincense and cancer, a physician talks about how it helped with someone with breast cancer. And we have to make the claim that there's no FDA has not approved this, and so as far as the studies, and that they're making no claim to cure, prevent, treat any disease. So, but help heal the body and help get back in balance. Lemon's another great oil that has a lot of different uses. I'll pass this frankincense around too. So it's pretty strong. One tree produces 200 pounds of fruit a year, and that's from the expressed oil. Again, the rind, the outer rind, the inner rind is inferior oil. So that's a lot of some of the lemons you may feel. That's not the therapeutic oil. Oh, and you saw that 3,000 lemons to make 2.2 pounds or a kilo. And these are the active constituents: limonene. I think it was limonene or something, but it's limonene. And that's a terpene. And we won't get. It's just. I just want to show you there are chemical constituents in there that really make these oils what they are. It's a great digestive, and it helps in many different ways with your stomach, constipation, diarrhea. Counteracts stomach acidity, indigestion. You can put it in a glass of water to drop or helps it great with the skin. It's an antibacterial, antiseptic, disinfectant, and it's also an astringent, so there's various ways you can use lemon. It's a great cosmetic, expectorant, anti-inflammatory. Use it as a mouthwash. Multiple uses for lemon. But it can cause skin irritation. Any citrus oil can be a photosensitizer potentially, so you got to be careful with it in the sun. Peppermint. Everybody likes peppermint, right? The United States is the largest producer of it, and the leaves and the flowers are picked right before maturity because that's when the oil content is the greatest. And these are the little pictures of the oil that you can see there. And the active constituents, the cooling taste comes from the alkyl L-menthol, and then which is an alcohol, and then you have a ketone and an ester, which gives it its minty aroma. It's an adaptogenic oil, which means it can sedate or stimulate depending on what you need. Great for pain, applied topically, great for antispasmodic, digestive. Everybody drinks, well, not everybody, but many people use peppermint to help their stomach, peppermint tea. And it also helps with muscular, as far as bruises, tennis elbow, rheumatism. You can apply apply it neat or straight up, which it means, that means straight up neat, no dilution. Or, again, when you smell this, I don't want to dare you, but you can put a little,
I use it as a mouthwash.
and you can use it as a mouthwash. You can apply it directly on the area of concern, inhale it, but this is really strong stuff. Pass this around. Did everybody smell the difference between the lavender and the lavandin? With peppermint oil, repeated use can result in contact sensitization. You have to be cautious in dealing with high blood pressure during pregnancy. Don't get it in your eyes, don't get any oil in your eyes, or rinse it out with milk. And don't put it on direct damaged skin. That's my peppermint oil. So again, there's many references and many resources. PubMed.gov, for those of you who are medically skeptical, get the research on it as far as it has actual studies that have been done from various sources in the world on alternative therapies, oils, and what they do. And then Aroma Web, Everything Essential, and there's great books. Modern Essentials is a great book that I really like.
Can they go bad? I mean, how do you know the shelf life on?
Most of them are, citrus oils have the shortest shelf life, so sometimes you should put them in the refrigerator. But as long as you store them in a dark, cool,
Which
dry
the bottles
place.
are that way, but as long as
Right,
you don't overheat.
but they're usually, okay, don't overheat them, they need to stay below, below 65 degrees.
That's why you know you get a
And,
toothpick,
Yeah, and they
Keep it and
last
put it
a long
in a
time.
tube.
Okay.
But if they're cloudy or look anything other than that, then
Oh, yeah.
they're not good.
Makes your mouth feel fresh.
Any questions? Any other questions?
Under 65, you can put them all in the refrigerator.
Here's your sign. This one
I think, yeah, probably under 65, you can put them in, but you don't have to.
Yeah, well, these are all long.
They're pretty much indefinite, they can last. There's certain oils that get better with age, like women, yes. All right. You can mix and blend oils, yes.
So I got frankincense and lavender on my face.
Yeah. You can also make blends. Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, anybody have any more questions now? I just want